Time to talk about Supergirl, guys. Season 1, Episode 2, entitled Stronger Together. Full spoilers follow. Kara must put doubts aside as she tries to apprehend an escapee from the Kryptonian prison. And Kat pressures James for an interview with Supergirl. So, Connor, what did you think about this week's episode?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun actually. Like it's not perfect, it's not particularly great, but it is fun. Like just have a blast watching it, even though it's just nothing special.
Yeah. All right, Peter.
I
You have
guess
a you have a slightly longer review for us?
yeah, I guess I echo that, but I'll try and articulate it a bit more. Um, I think when we said last week that she's Melissa Benoist is very good in the role and she's very likable. I continue that into this week. I like her in the show, and the action's generally pretty fun. Actually, like, whenever she's using her powers, like I'm actually quite impressed with the flying effects and stuff for a TV show. It looks quite good. Like,
Yeah, I will say the beam eyes can look a bit goofy at times, especially when it's just like literally two of them staring each other down. Reminded me of like a Dragon Ball Z fight.
yeah,
Or
that was a
something.
little bit silly. I liked it when she first used them though. I thought, oh, it's blue. That's a little bit different from the usual yellowy or red or whatever.
Yeah, which we got some red eyes to talk about later, but for now,
Yeah.
let's talk about the blue one.
But no, I mean the action stuff was fun. I liked it when she fought the our evil aunt. They actually obviously it's very different from Man of Steel in that it's a TV budget, but they actually did try and have like a fight with both of them flying in the air. It was a little bit kung fu, clearly on wires, silly looking, but I kind of appreciated that almost.
Yeah,
Just
I will
trying it.
say that this episode, the side characters were a little bit more well-rounded. Were a little bit more a part of the team, and that was kind of, I mean, the title of the episode is "Stronger Together."
Well,
And it's all about basically, hey, this is my team. Let's.
yeah,
I can't do this
actually,
by myself.
I mean, I liked the friend was less annoying, and having him and Jimmy be like not as rivals, but just sort of having like
The
a
opposites of how
yeah.
they are. Yeah.
And the scene with them like getting pizza while they're like scanning for crimes and shit, I thought was actually kind of fun. Like I like that difference, and what accented it for me was when the general guy's like giving her shit, or our sister's giving her shit for like telling people. She's like, no, I'm not doing this on my own. They're my friends. I'm telling my friends, because it's the complete opposite of almost every other superhero TV show where we spend at least a season or like 2 or 3 seasons with the hero hiding everything from everyone they care about. It's like,
Yeah.
nah, she's just like, nah, I'm telling them because it's dumb. Because the usual excuse of, oh, it's to keep them safe is bollocks. It's always been bollocks, and I'm glad that it's not doing that in this.
They even gave Kat a whole speech to try and flesh her out a bit, like with where she was saying how she climbed up through the ranks and like a bit of her past. I thought the first episode was the Supergirl episode, like this was introducing you to her, and then this was kind of, and now let's focus on everyone else.
Yeah.
Which is very smart, I think, because it makes the whole show feel a little bit more fleshed out and a little bit more well realized. I especially liked seeing how the world or national city, whatever, always some ridiculous general name in front of city for these superhero shows. Central
Well,
City, National City, who
Well,
cares?
the thing
But,
is all the other ones though for the DC shows I appreciate because they're all from the comics and I know them. Whereas National City, I think it is from the comics, but it's not one that I really know.
I think it is, but it's just because they couldn't have Metropolis, isn't it?
Yeah, that's basically it. Like, it had the Flash not had Central City, I'd have been pissed. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I like seeing how the citizens were reacting to her, especially like with trying to save the oil rig or whatever, and everybody was really on board. Or at first they were like, "Hey, we just want Superman," which thankfully they actually said Superman out loud more than once this episode.
they said it like 10 times, and they said Man of Steel, and they referenced the Fortress of Solitude. Like, they went head in on the...
I
just-
think they had some issues when it was the pilot, and they only had certain things that they were allowed to do. And then once they've got this season order, they were like, "All right, we're going to have to commit to more things if we're going to make this a regular thing. And obviously when the pilot leaked, a lot of people were complaining about that online, so they must have taken it on board and gone to someone higher up and got permission to use it more.
It's stupid that the word avoiding saying the word, like, my cousin. Your cousin?
Yeah.
No, he's Superman.
And they still referred to him in that way, but like it was a much more realistic balance of how people would just say things, which is why I really appreciated when she flies up to the oil rig and guys are just like, Superman would have already blown this away. He would have already done this. She's like, all right, fine, I'm going to try and do this. And then they're like, all right, yeah, she's doing it. Oh, no, she fucked it up. Oh, this is terrible. And then you have Heard Hapley from Parks and Rec and
oh my god.
Spill.
Oh my god.
Just super out of nowhere.
I cannot I started laughing. I had to pause it. I was laughing so hard when I seen him reporting the news, because it was like, he's doing the same. He's not saying the same stupid shit, but this is his voice. Like, all I can think of is, and tonight, Supergirl was a hero by doing heroic things. Like, that's all I could think in my head was the redundant shit he did in that show.
Next on, you heard with Purd. No use crying over spilled oil. That's right. You talk about the least Supergirl in the city. It was so weird and out of nowhere. But I still really like seeing all the different reactions from citizens, and how it's not just an easy thing to jump into being the new superhero. It's reminding me a lot of the Flash early on, except with even more powers. So I guess we should talk about the main antagonists during this week, because obviously we had her aunt eventually show up, but we also had weird insects that live in the ground, I guess. The insect guy who
that can conveniently take human form.
Yeah,
convenient. He was whatever. He was the villain for the episode, and that was it.
That said, I like how they're introducing her to her aunt so early on. I thought that was going to be fucking episodes till that even started.
Yeah, and it's an interesting main, for a big bad for this show. I think it's kind of cool that whenever they have their first confrontation, she's like, I remember sitting on your lap and you were teaching me things, and now you're gonna punch me in the face. It's kind of interesting. So,
what did we think of the training room that has kryptonite that can make her weak so she can fight a human?
Why did it have kryptonite if it was a training room, or was it originally meant to be like a prison in case something went wrong?
You'd have to assume that.
Yeah. I figured that.
But her sister was saying, "Oh, I trained in here," like that was a regular training room.
I guess they installed kryptonite in it just in the last week or so.
Also,
maybe
the sensitivity to kryptonite is really very different between Kryptonians, because the ants at the end, the dagger is across the room, and she's like, "It's making me sick. Get it out of here!" And then Kara's in a fucking chamber of kryptonite.
But then the thing with that is, it's
I'm a little sore.
That's emitting it, so it could be limited and they can turn it off and on, so it could be limited how much they're actually sending out.
Well, actually, it literally had a slider of intensity. It was she had it at 18%.
Yeah, whereas the knife is just that's raw kryptonite right there.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Admittedly, we're just sort of fixing it ourselves, when they probably didn't give it as much thought as this. They probably just whatever.
Probably, but.
Very possibly. I do want to point out, though, this is on CBS, and I felt like they're terrified of people who have not watched the first episode, because even though there's only been one episode, the previously on Supergirl segment at the start was one of the most comprehensive previously on segments I had ever seen for a TV show, and there's only been a pilot so far.
No, this is just another way where it felt really 90s. Everything feels like that one in the 90s, because they put the pilot out, and then no one checks it out, and then there's loads of good reviews, so everyone checks in for the second episode. So they put them massive previously.
Yeah, it feels kind of outdated though, because we've got DVRs and we've got.
It does feel outdated, but it's another one of those 90s holdovers that this show is just all about. It seems.
Well, CBS is all about that. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, so I guess we should end this discussion by talking about her sister's boss.
Is he a general?
One, he had some of the worst lines of the episode. Everything he said was just a terrible.
Yeah, he's
line.
I don't like her sister either. I think her sister's really under.
Yeah, they need to work on her a bit, but I don't know. She doesn't get on my nerves or anything, but her boss just had some really weird lines, just really bad ones. And then at the end, we get a little hint of, I guess he's not human.
Yeah.
What is he?
Or possessed. Isn't his name Henshaw, though? Isn't he Hank Henshaw? Did they say his name was Hank Henshaw?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, because he becomes one of the... He's like the... He becomes the... I can't remember what you call him. He's like the metal Superman that comes... After Superman gets killed...
Steel?
Not Steel.
Metallo?
Not Metallo.
What are you talking about?
After Superman died in the comics, there was 4 people. One was Steel, one was somebody else. No one else has read all this stuff, but one of them was Hank Henshaw, and he was like a half like robot Superman, and he became a villain. So I guess they're hinting at something like that. He never had evil demonic red eyes, admittedly.
Didn't he have like some sort of psychic powers? Is that who I'm thinking?
Yeah, I think he did. Now you bring it up.
Well, obviously, we need to do some
Research.
some research on this maybe for next week. But
I'm googling it now because I feel like I need to. You've piqued my curiosity.
But no, Hank Henshaw is definitely a character from the comics.
Yeah,
right?
he definitely is.
Yeah.
Recently, he's been Cyborg Superman.
Cyborg Superman, yeah, I think that was his thing.
Okay. Well, that would be interesting, I guess, to see on this show, but something's going on with him. All right. Well, we were all pretty much a fan of this week's episode, so that was Supergirl.